Hi, are you sick and tired of paying hundreds of dollars a month for cable or dish? GNR TV is your answer. These guys have an incredible 100% legal product that is a cord cutter's dream. For as low as $25 a month, you will get over 400 HD channels, including all major sports packages, pay per views, premium movies, and entertainment. To get started, all you need is a streaming device, such as an Amazon Fire Stick, internet, and a desire to save a ton of cash. No contracts, no credit checks, no hidden fees. I myself have been a subscriber, and I must say this service is amazing. To learn more, search GNR TV on Facebook or Instagram, and I will also be posting a link on my pages to check out on my podcast website. Lastly, for first-time subscribers, use promo code SIR30 to save $5 for your first month. GNR TV, streaming done right.
Let's get slicing and dicing with Sir Sturdy horror fans. On this podcast, you will hear me and a guest do some movie reviews, random funny horror chats, and whatever else comes to mind. So tune in, kick back, relax, and always remember, I'll see you in your nightmares.
Well, just Jason's mask.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Here's another exciting episode of Horror with Sir Sturdy. Today I have the star, Alena, on here from The Evil Down the Street. Alena, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing great, actually. I had Craig and David on here a few weeks ago doing an interview. Those guys are hilarious and fun to chat with and record with, so that was a good episode. I also did a review.
Did you have them both at the same time?
Yep, they were both on here same time. And those two going back and forth is just, it's funny.
Oh.
Very funny. According to Craig, he's like 20 or 22 years old. I forgot. I didn't believe him, but I took his word for it. You know, I can't.
Oh, now they're starting to say that they're 22 too. Okay.
Yep. But yeah,
nice.
they were real fun to have on.
105.
Say that again?
Huh?
Can you say that one more time?
I said, that's okay. Like, I said, birthday that just passed, I've been telling people I'm 105.
Hey, whatever age you want to be.
I'm way older than David and Craig.
So seeing as how we're speaking of David and Craig, how was it working with those two guys? I'm sure it had to be, well, for me interviewing them, I'm sure it had to be fun.
Well, you know, there's a difference between work and outside of work, of course. You know what I mean? Craig and David, you know, they're absolutely amazing to work with. They are, but at the same time, they are just like, they're very direct.
Mm-hmm.
Things need to get done, and you know what I mean. And so it's like boom, 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 boom. So, yeah, but easy to work with. Definitely easy to work with.
That's good. That's really good. Now, how with your role in The Evil Down the Street, was it hard to get in that mindset?
You know, everybody always asks me this question, and I always say the same thing, because when I did this film, I haven't been in the industry for a very long time, and I still, you know what I mean, still learning. I'm still training, taking classes, learning everything that I possibly can. But I have to give a big thank you to David Espinoza for bringing me underneath his wing, because I don't, how do I put it? There's seasoned actors, you know what I mean, that have been in this industry for such a long time, and so I was getting basically a master class from David Espinoza after, we would be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, film, and then boom, I go straight into like, master's acting class.
Yeah.
So he was the one who helped me develop these triggers and all of these, memory stuff. I can't think of the word right now because I had way too much chai. But, um, all of these things to help me kind of hone into these demonic spirits or,
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense.
I called one of them, I called one of them hate because it was one of the demonic spirits was just hateful. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
then the other one was Jezebel. And well, we all know about Jezebel.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
So yeah, I give a lot of credit to David um, for helping me, kind of hone into to that.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
I got a question. This has to do with the movie. What was up with those
Okay.
potatoes?
The what?
The
The
potatoes.
potato.
That part right there, like, it was funny because at one point you're telling the girls, listen, skin all these potatoes, please. Then you come downstairs and say, I didn't tell you to do them all. I'm like, what's is there like a message behind these potatoes? Do demons like potatoes? That's what I was trying to think. But I couldn't put two and two together.
That is a question you'd have to ask David and Craig. As an actress, it is my sole responsibility to do what they tell me to do
Hmm.
and what is the script. And yeah, the potato scene. Maybe the demon just wanted potatoes
I mean, there's so many
and
ways you can make them.
cake, potatoes and cake.
Yes, potatoes and cake. Not a bad combo. You fry those potatoes, make them French fries, and there you go.
There you go. I know. I mean, they peeled enough potatoes to, you know what I mean?
Oh, there was more
Three
than enough.
Thanksgivings over.
Yes. But that was a really funny scene in the movie. And then I had like two of my favorite scenes. The one was in the basement, when I believe the light was red when you were down there. When I don't
The
know.
lighting, yeah.
Yes, yes. That was a fun scene. And the scene where you started off, I believe your daughter hears something. She comes downstairs and you're like in the corner, looking in the corner. She sees you. She peeks around the corner. She sees you, and then she runs up to her room. And then you come upstairs and you're like looking over her, whispering in her ear, but you hear the demon's voice as you're whispering in her ear. And then
Yeah.
you hear your husband coming. We don't hear him because you like back up into the corner. Then he comes in to console her,
Yeah.
and I don't remember what you said exactly to her. Like because he noticed
Uh-oh.
you were in there, and I'm like, that whole scene was just powerful right there. How did that?
You're breaking up on me.
Oh, sorry.
Huh?
How did that scene come about?
So, okay, so the first scene that you're talking about in the basement, um, was such a trippy moment,
Hmm.
right? Um, for one, so I personally believe in strongholds and possession, like, um,
Yep.
and so that scene, and so when we did that scene, it was actually at a different place,
Okay.
right? And there was a lot of strange things going on there, which was really weird. And they come out with this vintage Ouija board. Okay, it wasn't like a brand new Ouija board like no one's touched or anything like that. Like it was like vintage. And I'm
Hmm.
looking at this Ouija board going, oh Lord Jesus. Right, I get like my holy oil and I'm like rubbing it all over me. I was like, oh God, I don't know what's going on. But it's weird because there was, I think we all felt it, to be honest with you, that there was some kind of presence there.
Hmm.
And so when we did that scene, um, it's kind of like I remember it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Uh, but like the energy in that room shifted, and everybody felt it. That was filming it, that was there. Like the energy just like shifted, and it was kind of like really, really eerie, and just like um, it was overwhelming.
Okay.
And yeah, so maybe that's what comes out on film, because it really did. I mean, I know said to me that um, something about, it's like a good take when like the chemicals in the room change,
Yeah.
like everything just kind of like changed. And then the the um, the one where my daughter sees me and I look over at her, and she goes upstairs. I mean, that's just, and then I whisper, I'm whispering in her ear, and I hear
Hmm.
Kelton coming. And, and it was just like this, it just slowly backed up. I mean, it was all of those moments were just like really, really eerie, because she was scared. She was fearful of what was going on. She was like unsure of,
What?
what the hell is her mom doing? I mean, everybody's kind of like, what is going on with mom?
Yeah.
You know, she bipolar. She going through the change of life. Like, what's going on? But I think what I've told a lot of people when it comes to possession is that, so, you know, in real life, possession isn't so blatantly obvious. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
not. It's not like this. Like exorcism. It's not where, like, the head is spinning, and you see like your husband or uncle or whatever like climbing up the wall, and like,
Yeah.
you know their body's distorting or anything like that. No, it's a very, very subtle change, because the demon, that it's there,
Hmm.
or multiple demons. you know
Yep.
so yeah, those those were very, very intense,
They
very
were.
intense moments.
And another funny scene was the car scene when you wanted to go back to get your phone, just because you knew something wasn't right, as far as you knew the one daughter was snooping around, pretty much.
Mhm.
And I remember I remember she goes into that bottom drawer. She sees whatever she sees, and she closes the drawer, but she didn't put all the clothes back in how it was, so something was hanging out. And I'm like, she's gonna get caught, because this is, this is obvious. Which I'm just like, this is
Right?
just awesome. I was like, this is just awesome. It was just funny how you just, like a flick of a switch, and you just freaked out, acting all wild in the car, and he turned around. He turned around like any other husband would, with some
That's what I
sense, I
do in
guess.
real life, Aaron.
I
That's
believe
what I
it.
do in real life. No,
As a
that
ma-
scene came very natural to me.
as
That's
a
how I talk to my husband.
as a married man, I believe it. We all get it.
No, actually, it was funny because that scene, like, I think I actually hurt my voice.
Oh,
Because because I was like screaming at him, because I don't really like to scream. I had to be like, like a crazy woman, and I think after the scene was done,
hmm,
because it was like we did the scene, and then I yelled, and then it was like cut. We would laugh, because we were like,
yeah,
because every time that happened, I think Maddie or Sophia, because each time we did the take, I got a little bit more crazier. You know what I mean? I
hmm,
was like, and she, even the poor thing in the back, going, you know,
sitting there uncomfortable.
God, what am I doing?
Yep.
I know. She's like, talk about awkward. So those scenes were a lot of fun. I think the one that is my favorite,
Hmm.
and it doesn't really show it in the movie, is when I have the knife in my hand, right?
Hmm.
And because before I did that scene, I had to build up so much anger, like so much anger, right? That I was literally, when I was looking at him, I was shaking,
Oh.
and yeah, I was like blacked out in anger, and then I had to kind of come to, and when I came to each time, I broke down. I broke down in tears,
Oh
and
wow.
so that natural reaction that you see him where he holds me,
Hmm.
it's like just his natural instinct, because I just I just like I was, because I was in that moment so much, and I realized what I was doing,
Yeah.
and I just started crying. I mean, I was trembling, and then I had to do it again. I had to build myself back up to that point again and again. Each time that I did it, um, was just so emotional.
Hmm.
It was so emotional, and poor Kelton, like I don't think he even knew what to do, because like he would see me, he's seen this hatred, and then all of a sudden I'm like, where am I? What am I doing? And then I just broke down, and he was like, oh crap, come here, you poor
Yep.
thing. Yeah. So yeah, that was my favorite scene. But like I said, it was you can't you can't see all of that because of the angle, but that's what happened,
Okay.
on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is this your first role, first movie role?
So yes and no. I mean, the first my first lead role was on The Job Interview. It's called a movie called The Job Interview.
Okay.
But but there's no distribution for it. It actually is on Amazon Prime right now, called New York State of Mind.
I'll have to check that out.
That was my very, very first. Yeah, it's called New. It's a short film,
Hmm.
and I was like literally 1 week into the entertainment with no training, and I went to this audition, and uh, he wanted like someone with like a, well, it said on the email, a like an Italian accent. So like I came in there like, do you want the pizza? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and Ernest just laughed. He was like, "No, we don't want that kind of accent," because it was like Brooklyn, New York.
Hmm.
Um, so I ended up doing that was my first lead role. For director Ernest Serrano, who and Michelle Serrano. They are like family.
That's
They're family.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, are you a fan of horror? Like, are you big into horror as far as watching the movies, or?
Okay, so I use I am and I am not. Like I love old horror.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Of course, like my favorite movies were, well, especially I don't even think if it's even considered horror, but like The People Under the Stairs.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of. It would fall in that category.
Yeah, People Under the Stairs, Pet
Oh,
Cemetery.
I love Pet Cemetery.
Oh my gosh, and they're bringing it back.
Did you did you see the new one?
Wait, oh, it's out already?
You did. It was in theaters.
See, okay, I need to go watch it.
It was
Didn't it just release? Did it just release?
no. It came out a couple. It came out in theaters a few months ago. I believe it's on Blu-ray or DVD now. I believe. I could be
Okay.
wrong. But my opinion for the remake or whatever they want to call it, It was
Don't be
good.
doing no spoiler alerts right now.
No, no, that's for my movie reviews. But it was good, but I feel like they dropped the ball. I will say that. But it was good.
Really?
Yeah. But no, I'm not gonna say anything else about it. I don't want to ruin it for you.
Well,
Definitely.
it's kind of weird because, like, I love it.
Yeah,
I
that was
love,
amazing.
you know, um, I loved horror movies, and I don't know if it was because during that time, you're a kid.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Candyman and,
Oh
like, oh
yes.
my gosh. And so those things scared you. And as we get older, you know what I mean? It's like I feel like I need a little bit. I l- I need a little bit more. I'm more into when it comes to horror. I'm not much of a gore fan, but I love like stigmata. I love things that that you think about that could be like factual
Okay. So
that
you're
make you think like, oh shit, like I bet you this is happening. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
See, and my favorite type of horror is the slasher, the blood, the gore, and all that. My favorite, as you can see from my shirt, is Jason. Love him.
Yeah.
And I have him over here on my desk. I just
Nice.
This is the type of stuff I got into, like, as not collecting, but as far as the movies as a kid, just following like my older brother around and my older cousins around because they were into horror. And if you have older siblings or older cousins, you always want to do what the older kids are doing, and that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Scared me a lot. As a matter of fact, there was times I'd watch movies with them, and they would let me, and I would have them walk me to the bathroom and wait for me, and then walk me back to the movie because I was so scared. But I'd always go back and just want more and more and more, and I love
Right?
it. But I'm beginning to I'm beginning to love like the paranormal movies more. I always liked
Hmm.
them. My wife freaking loves them, and it's never like I said, have always been my favorite. But that's been like what's been out since I was a kid. Like that's what I grew up on. I grew up on like Jason, Michael Myers, Freddy. So I'm so used to seeing that all the
Right.
time. There wasn't really too many paranormal movies that I can think of when I was a little kid.
No, yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember any either during that time.
And if there
Yeah.
was, they definitely weren't as popular. I mean, for instance, Friday the 13th. I remember Friday the 13th used to come on USA Network. Anytime it was Friday the 13th, that whole weekend, they're showing the whole marathon. Of course, they cut out the blood and guts and everything, the good stuff. But I still just, I would still, every time that came on the USA Network, whoever's house I was at, put it on Jason. And then it went from,
Right?
yep, it went from that to like renting the movies at the video stores and all that. Something kids will never know about, which is very unfortunate.
Blockbuster?
Yes, I
No.
miss it. I miss it because those days you would just go to the you
Home
go,
video?
yep, you go grab your video, your candy, your pizzas, and you pick the
Yep.
movie. You pick the movie out by the cover. Like, oh wow, this cover looks cool. Let's go watch this movie. And
Exactly.
now, don't get me wrong. I love streaming because it's so freaking convenient. So convenient to just sit at home. But I do miss just going out, grabbing a movie, and just you're not you. I feel like I take less time at those times to go out and grab a movie than to stream because you have so many. You have like millions of options now. Like I don't know what the hell I want to
So many
watch.
options. Well, you know what? I remember those days, just going to Blockbuster Video or
Hmm.
or Hollywood and going down the aisles, right? Of
Yes.
course, of course we go straight down to the horror, you know what
Yep.
I mean? The horror aisle, but being able to like tangibly hold it,
Hmm.
look at the front, because of course we're like, whoa, we look at the back, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then we look at the front, and we look at the back, and then we're like, okay, this is a maybe. Then you go
Yep.
down, and you're like, oh, this one looks cool. All right, this is a maybe.
Hmm.
And then you have like 3 or 4 to choose from, and you're like, okay, I only could pick two.
Yep.
Which two are we gonna get?
Exactly. I remember. I miss those days though, because you would go with a couple of cousins or friends or whoever, and whoever's parents were there at the time. You always try to convince them to get one, or they'll tell you beforehand. You can get a movie and a game, or you can get two of each. And do you always come here with like 6 movies and 6 games? Can we get no? You get a movie and a game.
That is so true. I forgot about the games.
Yes, and it I miss it though because I said it gets you out your house, it gets you out and just kind of networking a little bit because you'll see other kids in there sometimes. Hey, you should check this movie out, and then going to school that Monday. The only good part of it was, hey, guess what I just got to rent this weekend? Did you get to see this movie yet? No.
Yes.
Oh,
Those
but
were like the good old days.
I miss it. But again, the streaming is so convenient because you can just, hey, I want to watch such and such. Let me look it up on Amazon Prime and hit play. So that is the convenience of it, but it's just not the same.
It isn't. It really isn't because I think, like you said, like there's so many that it just for me like I get kind of like turned off by it. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like scroll, scroll,
Yep.
scroll, scroll. You know what I mean? So and then I end up getting like frustrated and I'm like, forget about it. I'm just gonna watch like, Big Bang Theory or something.
I do the same thing at times. Like I'll scroll through Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just watch a random YouTube video. I don't know what I want to watch.
Exactly. It's like overload. It's like a whole overload, and then our program just shuts down, and we're like, just gonna make it easy. I'm just gonna I'm gonna watch my DVR of Big Bang Theory.
I'm trying. I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to just like go through a couple movies, and I'm just like, you know what? Boom, this is the movie we're watching, and that's just it. And 9 times out of 10, it's horror. And I'm even at the point now, I think mainly because of the podcast. Well, I've done this beforehand, but more so because of the podcast. If it's a bad movie, I will finish it. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's gonna get better. It doesn't. There's a lot of times it doesn't get better. It gets worse or it stays the same. A couple times it gets better, but I'm like, I have to just finish this movie. And I don't regret it though. And the only reason why I say I don't regret it is because it's one of those things where it's like if you regret it or wait or feel like I want to erase this movie from my mind, you're gonna end up watching it again and putting yourself through that same, like, oh, this movie sounds good, and you put it on, and you're just like, oh man.
I know. I am the same way. I am like the same way. There's been a couple horror movies that I put on, and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I need to finish this film.
Yep.
I need to finish this film. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there's some, there's some good ones. Like I said, I think my whole mindset has changed when it comes to horror films. I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with like, with the new Chucky that's coming out.
Oh, did you see it?
Or has it come out?
Yes. It was.
Shit, I'm behind in times right now.
You're gonna have to just start talking to me about what movies you need to see because I can point you in the direction.
Oh, right?
But
right, because like I'm so out of the loop.
The new Chucky movie, I loved it.
Did you?
I loved it. And what I will say this, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'll just say, this isn't a spoiler at all right here. Don't think about the old Chucky movies at all. Just because Chucky's name's the same and the kid's name is the same. Other than that, erase the other Chucky stuff out of your head.
Yeah.
And you'll enjoy the movie a lot more. But this movie, in my opinion, was so good. It was better than, I'll say, the majority of the Chucky movies that I've seen. That's my opinion, though.
Ooh.
I feel like, honestly, I really feel like it was. I don't remember Child's Play Part 3 too much, but I feel like 1, 2, and 3 are probably the best ones out of the whole franchise. Mm-hmm. It was definitely better than all those other ones, all those Bride of Chucky and all that other nonsense they did. Cult of Chucky, which I did enjoy. They were fun, but it was better than all those. It stands up there with 1, 2, and 3. I'd have to revisit 1, 2, and 3, and then the remake or the reboot, whatever they want to call it, to see what I really like better. But it was good. It was really good.
Well, I guess I love I know because everybody keeps saying like they're, quit doing remakes, but technology has changed.
Yes, it has.
And for me to see, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For me to see Chucky kind of like, it's like modified, little character and how it was like in the 80s. to me, that's just cool in itself because that little turd was a turd. I was
Yeah.
like, he scared me.
He, it was. See, I'm with you on that though. Like I enjoy. I'll watch any remake, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't.
Hmm.
Some of them are done really well. Like the Evil Dead remake, I thought that was amazing. I actually like that better than the original, which I know that's like blasphemy to say, but I don't really care. Um, what else? Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003. I thought that wasn't better than the original, but it was a really good. It was probably one of the better remakes I've seen of movies. That was a real good. It was done really well. Friday the
Yeah.
13th, 2009. It was good, but it wasn't great. I
Hmm.
enjoyed it a lot. And Nightmare on Elm Street. That was. I don't really want to discuss that one. It wasn't terrible. It was okay, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some that I don't feel like you should go back.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like because technology has progressed so much that you should like push it forward
Yeah.
into like a new direction. Because like you can't go back. Because if you go back, it's just the same thing. But if you push it forward into like a different direction, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think it becomes great.
You see, with that though, like, I'll use Friday the 13th for an example. I think the thing that bothered me the most with that movie was it wasn't as serious as the other ones were, and that was a big thing with me. And then it wasn't set like in the 80s. It was set like nowadays, not more modern times. And
Uh huh.
I get what they were doing with that, but I feel like it should have been set in the 80s, and they should have just took it a lot more serious and kept it dark. Funny moments here and there, I don't mind, but kept
Yeah.
it dark, and I think that movie would have done a whole lot better. And like I said, I still enjoy it. I'll still watch it. That's not it's
Yeah.
my favorite franchise. I watch every single one of those movies, and some are better than others.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the new It?
That I thought was amazing, and
Thank you.
with that, I like that one. I actually love that one because my brother. That's actually another really good remake. My brother had given me the book maybe like a month before the movie came out, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this before the movie comes out. Stupid me didn't realize how long that book was. So I'm over here reading it, and I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, I got like a week and a half, 2 weeks left. This book's 1,100 pages. I'm on like page 200. There's no way of getting this done. So I lucked out. I was searching on the internet, searching, lucked out, found it on YouTube, downloaded it on YouTube, and just listened to it at work every single day, and finished like a couple days before the movie came out. And I was like, wow. I went and watched the movie. Now, it didn't go shot for shot with the book, obviously, like most movies don't, but there was a lot of things they took from the book that was in the actual movie. And I was like, this
Uh-huh.
is awesome. Like the way Pennywise was dressed in the movie is the way they described it in the book, which that right there, I know it's a minor detail to some people, but like that right there is just awesome. He wasn't just in a regular, what was it, like a blue and yellow clown suit like the old movie. He was in that silver suit,
Hmm.
and just I thought it was done really well, and that movie I'm really excited to see. I cannot wait for it. I am mad, not mad, when Pet Cemetery was coming out because I believe the same people who did Pet Cemetery, at least some of them. And I was saying this last year, all the way up till Pet Cemetery came out. Pet Cemetery was going to be my movie. That was my projection for movie of the year. I was wrong, but it's still definitely worth seeing. It's still a really good movie. It just dropped the ball for me. Other people might,
Yeah.
they might look at it different. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna have to check it out because I know Pet Cemetery was one of my favorites.
I see. I have.
And I'm not gonna, but what I cannot do, and I have to understand this too, because is I can't hold it up to the Pet Cemetery. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
have to see it with new eyes. I have to
Yes.
see it with fresh new pair of eyes, and not compare. Because if I start comparing, then I'm automatically gonna be like, dismissed.
Yep. Yep. I'm the same way. And my thing with that too, I think why I had a little issue with it is I had just finished reading the book. And I'm like, okay, well, they did great with it. So maybe they did great with Pet Cemetery. And it wasn't, it was just, like I said, it was a really good movie. But as far as the way it goes with the book was probably one of the best reads.
Whoever told you to read the book before you see the movie? Did you know that is like a classic like don't do,
No,
right?
yeah, I should.
Because the movie can never amount up to the book.
I've learned that. Now what I need to start doing, which I know I'm not gonna do, is watch the movie first and then read the book. Because
Yes.
I just read what did I just do? What the man, I can't even think of the book. Anyways, the sequel's coming out, Doctor Sleep. Red Rum. What is that movie? Red Rum, they say it in that. It's coming to me, but I can't. The Shining. Yeah.
The Shining.
I seen that movie maybe 5 times in my life. I just recently watched that again like last year, but I just finished the book maybe like a month or two ago. And now I'm getting ready to read Doctor Sleep in like a week or two. Well, I'm getting ready to listen to it on the audiobook at work. But and then that movie's supposed to be coming out this year. And I'm sure the book's going to be excellent. I'm sure the movie's going to be really good. I'll probably be a little disappointed, but I can't help it. And the reason why I do it is because a lot of people, hey, did you read this book? You seen the movie? Did you read this book? I'm like, no, I didn't even know they had a book of it. So now, if I can find, I have this app. Matter of fact, I might as well say it now. This is not a sponsor, people. But I have this app. It's called Libby. You download it on your phone or whatever, your phone, probably your iPads and all that kind of stuff. And it's free. As long as you have a library card, it's free. And there's a lot of books in there. And you can just listen to the audiobook of them. There's a lot of horror-related books in there. So that's what I usually do go for. Jaws is another one.
Know that?
I mean, oh, my friend, one of my friends at work told me about it. My friend James. I don't know how he found it, but he told me about it. And that right once he told me about that, he was like, "Free? You just have to get a library card." That day, I was like, "I'm going to get a library. I'm going to get a library card right now." And
Heck yeah!
the cool thing about it too is like when you get the book, as long as they have say like maybe 1 or 2, so as long as it's available, you can download the book and you can keep it. I just found this out like a week ago. You can keep it for 3 weeks, so you can keep it for 21 days. You just have to change your, how long you want to keep it for. And yeah, it's definitely worth it. If you're someone who loves to listen to audiobooks, definitely worth it. And it's free. Just get a library card, and you get a lot of freaking I work in an office, so that's all I'm listening to, either a podcast, music, or books all day to help me get through the day. And most of that's usually.
No, I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. You need a hashtag Libby.
Hashtag Libby.
Sponsor the podcast.
I wish, but it's free though. I mean, I don't know what they would do for me. If they could just give me unless they give you like a little quote unquote hidden link, like, hey, here's more access to more audiobooks we can give. I'm cool with that. Just all horror though. I don't care about anything else really. But it's
because of your podcast. It is now. They are not now going to start charging everybody because everybody's gonna go download. Download the app.
Well, if that's the case, then they can just pay me or give it to me for free.
There you go.
One or the other. But it's definitely a great app, the Libby app, and just get a library card, people. See, I'm about education with this podcast.
Well, I know. Like I said, I know that. When it comes to reading a book, because when you read a book, I mean, that's when, everything is very, descriptions, everything. You paint everything in your mind.
Definitely.
And it's so detailed. That's why I never read a book before I watch a movie, because I'm like, oh, they missed the butterfly. What happened to the butterfly that lizard was supposed to eat?
Yeah, and see now
They missed a crucial point in the movie.
But then I'm the opposite of that though, because like there's times where I watch a movie and somebody will say, "Oh wow, this was in the book," and I'm like, now I gotta read the damn book and then watch the movie again and try to remember. So like, okay, I'll do the book first and see if that stuff is in the book, like with it, the clown costume. There's a few other things I can't really remember right now, but there's the clown costume and stuff like that. That really stood out to me. So I'm like, this is awesome. And then you go and read another book, and I'm like, okay, where is this? I read this in the book. I don't see any of this going on in the movie. What the hell's going on? So yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like a hit or miss.
Chapters.
Yeah.
Funny.
All they kept was the name of the movie and the characters' names.
That's right. Everything else is missing.
So if
Well, I think kind of that's what's great now
mhm,
about um especially because it's like back then you had to condense everything to a 2 hour movie.
true,
So now these books are turning into series, which on Netflix or something like that, which
yep,
I think is amazing because when you have to condense everything down to 2 hours, I mean, you don't get everything that everything
definitely don't.
needs to be met in 2 hours. It's like you know
Yeah,
100 hours
I know, or more. Speaking of Netflix
or more.
series, did you watch Stranger Things?
Yes.
What did you think of the last season? I don't want to spoil it for people right now. I've never done a podcast on that, by the way, but I don't want to spoil it for people right now. But what did you think of it as a whole?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it either, but um, it was so good.
Yeah,
Okay, it was so good. For one, it was just I was okay. I cried like 3 times.
I believe it.
I was like, oh no, like, and then back to back. Oh shit. But there's gosh, like I said, I don't want to spoil because there's certain things in Stranger Things that they left open.
Yes, yes,
You know,
especially.
so
hmm,
I am excited for the next one.
I know, I know. I'll say with the end credit scene. If you haven't watched it yet, people just watch it. Wait for the end credits. That was huge. The end credit scene of the last episode of season 3. Did you not
Which
watch?
what? Wait, what? Wait. Refresh my memory, please.
See, I'll have to when we're done recording. I'll tell you because I don't want to say
Okay,
it because it's
okay.
going to give
Because I
away
think
too much.
I watched the end credits. See, but right now I just got done watching Orange is the New Black,
Hmm.
and they did the end credits because it's like the last season, and
Okay.
so like I have that in my mind, and it was like really good. It is really good. I cried on that one too, but okay. Wait, I'm trying to think of the end credits. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me.
I
You're gonna
definitely
have to
will.
tell me.
I will.
All right.
Now, okay. So,
Okay, let me ask you a question.
oh, of course,
Okay, do you watch Black Mirror?
I don't. People tell me I should watch. People at work that know I'm into horror, like, you need to check this out. Why haven't you checked this out yet? And I'm like, I'll put it on my watch list for Netflix.
You have to. I mean, it's so um it's so tripped out.
Tripped
It
out.
is trippy. It is so trippy. Like whoever created these episodes because each episode is very different.
Hmm.
Um really I mean, I'm just like, whoa. I mean, it's like that's all I'm gonna tell you. You gotta start watching. You gotta start watching that show. It's like they had like 2 more episodes, and the first one was a trip. Well, they both were trips, and I know the second one had Miley Cyrus, which is
Okay.
kind of weird and horrible. But the first one was really good.
Wait a minute. You can't just jump over that part. Why is that weird and horrible?
Because it was like about her.
Okay.
So, okay, so basically in this episode, she's like this huge pop star, right?
Hmm.
It was like Miley Cyrus. Oh wait, or it was like Hannah Montana, but like a newer version of Hannah Montana.
I'll have to check it out. Not
Yeah.
not because of that, but just in general. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about this show. I don't know. I have so much stuff I watch, and then like when I do movie reviews, because like if I have when I have guests on, they want to do a movie review. I usually let them pick the movie. I'm like, yeah, as long as I can get to it, we can do that and review it. So I watch those first. And then if I'm doing interviews, I'm like, okay, if I'm having somebody on, I should probably watch their movie before I have them on the podcast. And I mean, I know that's a horrible excuse, but that's what I'm using. That's what I'm gonna use. And I had to watch Stranger Things season 3.
No, so yeah, Stranger Things season 3 is the bomb.
Yeah,
It
it
is
was
it is
amazing.
the best one by far. I mean, everything about it, just the storyline,
Hmm.
um, everything that happens. It's just every single episode was phenomenal.
I agree.
Phenomenal. All the way. I mean, you know how like some episodes kind of the climax,
Yeah,
go back down, go back down. This one just took you just straight to the top.
I agree. And I want to go back and rewatch the whole series again from season 1 to season 3
Yeah.
because what we did was like we watched, when season 1 first came out, we watched that. Same thing with season 2, and then 3. We never went back and watched the whole thing up leading up to the next season. So I think I'm gonna try that way before
Yeah.
season 4 comes out because I don't know when that's coming out. I don't have enough patience for that. Just to
I know,
wait.
right? Like my boys are actually the ones that they're like, Mom, have you seen Stranger Things yet? And I was like, no, not yet. And my son's like, you're gonna cry. And I was like, why would you tell me that?
Yep.
Right? I got so mad at him. I go, spoiler alert. He's like, what? I didn't tell you if anything good or bad was gonna happen. I go, you just told me that I was gonna cry. So that's already, you're immediately telling me something's going to happen.
Yeah, something big. Yep.
That's going to make me cry. And he's like, oh, but you might not be crying just once. And I'm like, thank you again.
That
But yeah, like everybody in this household
loves that show.
Oh, we can't wait till season 4.
Now that's the last season though, right?
Huh?
That's going to be the last season. Unfortunately.
No, it's not.
No, really. They announced that that's supposed to. I think even when the show first started, they said they're only going to do about 3 or 4 seasons, and then there was something a couple weeks ago saying that that's supposed to be the last season. Which I'm not too excited about that, but I kind of get it. Maybe they're lying to us. I hope so.
So, okay. I see what you're saying.
Season 4, not season 3.
Not season 3. Yeah.
Season 4, which I get it though, because it's one of those things where, especially with a show like that, I'm sure you do too. You connect with the characters, and it's like you want this to go on for years, but at the same time, it's like
there's only so much you can do.
Yes,
that.
exactly. We're both old enough where we've seen plenty of shows that we've grown up loving, and they do like 15 seasons, and you're like, okay, I'm watching this show because I'm a fan of this show, but it's bad now. It's really bad, but you don't admit it.
It needs to just stop.
Yeah,
yes.
You'll never admit it out loud for those shows. Just like, you know what, I'm gonna watch it because I'm into this show since day one. But season 15, they could have just stopped at like season 6. And I feel like that's what they're doing with Stranger Things.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right with that because I think if they go any more and it gets to the point where it's like how many times are we going to see this go in circles?
But
kind of thing,
Yeah, but I could see more. The funny thing is I could see like 2 or 3 more seasons because I can't say that. Just because of let's just no.
Maybe. Well, you know what? Like
and the cast is. I
can't say that either because the characters. Just because of the characters.
Because they're all still young. Like they're all. I mean, the main ones, the kids, the group, they're kids. They're still young, so they can do a few seasons just with them. But it's. I don't know. I just can't wait to see another season.
I mean, there could be there can be some like really cool backstories to throw in there.
Yeah, definitely could be.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great show.
It is. Yeah, and you know what I love too about that show is I'm so horrible with names. I'm a horrible actress. Okay, I don't remember names for nothing.
Me either. And I'm a
I have to
podcaster.
Google. I have to Google everybody.
Yep.
So, what's the one with no teeth?
Dustin.
Um, Dustin. So I love the fact that they touched on his disease.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love the fact that they touched on it. They made light of it.
Yeah, that was
Did you
cool.
know that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. No, I knew that. It probably wasn't obvious to me at first. I think my wife told me, but yeah, which was cool about that, and I like that a lot. And these kids, I'm like, these are the type of kids I'd be hanging out with when I was their age.
I know, right?
Like, wow, these kids are.
Yeah.
Show your kids, like, look, these kids are going outside and playing with their bikes and everything else, or walkie-talkies. Like, I miss those days so much.
I know. I do too. I look at, I try, you know, I always get into conversation about like, when we were kids and riding our bikes. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a twin brother, so I would get on the handlebars. I mean, and he would. I was just talking about like this story the other day. Like he would get me on the handlebars. He'd be like, "Come on, Alena, let's go on the handlebar, or let's go, riding." And so I get on the handlebar, and then all of a sudden he would stop, and I
Oh,
would go flying in the air, and I'm like, and every time he would do that. But climbing trees, we would climb our fence to get up on the roof
mm-hmm.
of that house. Um, we were just like,
Out.
seriously, I think about those days and I'm like, I miss those days because it was very carefree.
Yeah, it was.
We didn't have this whole thing of you have to be, you have to be afraid of everybody.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
all the neighbors knew each other.
Oh, yeah,
We we were at their house all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They were at ours, or we were like in the backyard swimming in their pool, or whatever it may be. It was never. And then at nighttime when the lights came on, we would like all the kids would get together and we would play like hide and go seek.
Yes. Yep. I remember all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
All that
and
fun stuff.
yes, and no one like none of my kids have ever experienced that ever.
I do get that times are way different now. People are a lot crazier, and then kids don't have. I guess because they don't need it as much. They don't have the street smarts or common sense that we had growing up. And like I said, the times are way different though. I remember as like me and my brothers and all that cousins, we just go walk to the park, go fishing, bike riding all day. And as long as we're back before those streetlights come on, we're good. And then even then, we would still be able to hang out as long as we're out front of the house or in the yard.
Yep.
Depending on the situation, if it's a family gathering with the whole street and friends, then you could be up and down the street. But that was it at night. But now it's like the complete opposite now.
It is. It's like it makes me kind of sad because, like I said, I mean, still even in my where I grew up, where my parents still live,
Mm-hmm.
all the neighbors know each other. I mean, shoot, they get into like they they're barbecuing in the front yard. Like
Oh
there's
man.
multiple parties. There's a
Yep.
bounce house. They get they drink a lot of beer and then they fight and then the next day they're back drinking again.
Yep.
I mean.
All that
There's a lot
fun
of
stuff.
love going on over there.
Yeah.
But like, with over here, we don't even know our neighbors. You know what I mean? Like nobody talks to each other.
A big
Everybody
reason is because of these cell phone. Everybody's stuck looking down at these, and I'm guilty of it too. I try not to be as bad all the time, but there's times you're just walking or whatever, and you're just, oh, what's going on? Blah blah blah, whatever, and it's tough. I'm so happy we didn't grow up with that kind of technology and all that.
Yeah, me too, because like I said, I really enjoyed my childhood and just wandering and discovering, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, like I used to love looking under rocks and looking at bugs. And then you remember the encyclopedias?
Yeah. with all that information in there. Yep.
I used to like love reading those encyclopedias and like looking up the bugs, and I would just sit out in the front yard and I would just read. I mean,
That's
those days were so much. I feel like they were so much simpler. I don't. I know, like you said, like you had said something like it's more crazier these days.
it's at least it's more. You know what it is too, though. It was probably crazy then, but we didn't have social media then, so it didn't get to you in 2 seconds. Like, if something happened,
Right.
where are you from?
I'm from Fresno, California.
Okay, so say if something happened in California, and I'm from Albany, New York. If something happened, I wouldn't hear about it unless it was something like real big and crazy. Versus now, you'll hear about a kid from Albany stealing a piece of candy, and you'll hear about
Right.
that in California. So like, you know what I mean? I mean, I know it's something minor, but we wouldn't hear that kind of stuff. Unless it was something real big.
Right.
And it's just like now you're so nervous, which it's understandable to even let your kids go to certain places. Like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And when we were kids, I don't know if it's just because our parents were just like, you know what, you know better, don't get in anything. But I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't as uptight, I guess. You were, like you said, we were more carefree then.
Yeah,
more carefree.
I just feel like, when we were younger, I still feel like, the same stuff went on. It's just we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And like you said, because this right here
Mm-hmm.
gives us access to know about some chick licking Walmart ice cream and it
Oh
being
man,
epidemic.
that needed. See, now that right there. Speaking of that, I feel like that shouldn't have been spread around all over the place. Only because then you have idiots doing the same thing, and that makes me mad because I love ice cream.
Thank you.
But it's one of those things where it's like you should know better. Not, I couldn't even imagine doing something stupid like that. Like, if I see some of these kids doing certain things, especially when they record it, where they record doing something stupid that they know there's a slight chance your parents are going to see that. And I'm just like, that's the last thing I want to do. If I'm doing something dumb with my friends or my siblings, mom doesn't need to know about this. Because I know there's going to be horrible consequences if she finds out. And then just imagine you doing something stupid and your parents, and then you're trying to get yourself out of it like we've all done. No, I didn't do that. Well, who is this on YouTube? Like, oh, yeah, I guess I did do that. And then,
Well, that's kind of like the beautiful thing about like how we grew up, because of course we did some stupid stuff, but nobody knows about it.
Yep, that's true. I mean, there's plenty of times where we were doing dumb things and got caught, and you suffer the consequences. But then it's like, all right, so next time what we need to do is we'll do it further away from home and our neighbors, because everybody in this neighborhood knows each other. They're just gonna tell anyway. So we'll do it in this neighborhood over here where nobody knows us. And if you fall and scrape your elbow, we were playing football.
Exactly.
It's simple as that. But now it's like everybody has to they have to record every single thing, which certain moments I get to record. You want to record, your kids playing or something cool like that. But when kids are doing dumb things, even adults, when you're doing dumb things, I'm like, come on now, really? You know you're going to get arrested for doing that. You're really going to put that on your Facebook page and then wonder why you got in trouble? Like, you put it on your own page. Who told on me? You.
I know.
You
know what it feels like? It feels like everybody's got like their phone ready on record.
Yeah. Everybody
what I mean? They're like, I'm going to record this person. Ooh, they're arguing.
Yep.
I'm going to record this person.
Yep.
And it's like
everybody wants that.
Everybody's a news reporter these days.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what it is? Some people get those viral moments for doing something positive or negative, and everybody wants that viral moment thinking they're going to blow up for likes or somehow get money from it. And I'm just like, that's not really how it works. Some of those people really have talent. Some people are just lucky when they do something dumb and get paid. I don't know how that happens, but it doesn't mean you should all do it. Somebody sticks a fork in a socket and gets paid off that. That doesn't mean you should go ahead and stick your fork in a socket and think the same thing's going to happen, because you might end up dead. But people don't really think like that.
Well, you know what trips me out? What trips me out these days is, so my kids introduced me to, what is it called? Like, is it MSR?
I'm not even sure what that is.
okay, where people they they'll take a freaking cucumber or a watermelon or like an apple, and they'll sit there and just eat it.
Oh my gosh, one of those type of videos, watching people eat.
Yes, and I'm going, and there's like millions and millions of views, or it's ESM or ESR, or I don't even know what it is, and I was like, why? And I think I had asked my son, I was like, why are these videos, like, what are these videos? And they're like, oh, it's, because it's supposed to calm people down, like the sound of these things are supposed to calm people down. I'm going,
The crazy
and
thing is, it's probably true. Like if.
it's so weird, but it's so weird. You're just like, someone is just sitting there, like, eating a pickle, and it's just like, you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, my daughter, right? And so then it went to that. Then it went to my son watching other people play Fortnite and Minecraft.
That
And I'm like,
that I
what?
understand.
And I'm like, why are you watching other people play? Like, and now he's doing it where
Street.
he's
Yep.
recording himself.
That's I
You
was gonna
know,
say that's why I understand, because I'll do that sometimes too. Streaming. I watch streams here and there, but I'll stream sometimes too, just for fun, like with my brothers or some friends. We'll be on at night, and I'm just like, hey, why don't we just stream? But we're conversating, so everything's being recorded. And as far as we can tell, it's hilarious. But it is fun and addicting. So that I do get. The watching people eat thing. I'm like in the middle with that, because I'll watch, like, if people eat like really hot things or something really sour, something weird. I'll watch that. But just to watch somebody eat, just to hear the crunch, that's not my thing. Or I'll watch, if like a food critic type of thing, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
But I can't just sit there watching somebody eating a pickle or an apple just to hear the noise of it. I can do that myself.
That's exactly. In like my daughter, it's so weird. Like my daughter. So there's a YouTube for kids,
Hmm.
and it's she watches like other kids playing with toys, and I'm like, why don't you just go play with your dolls? Why are you watching other people?
Yeah.
So then I told my son, I was like, okay, we have to be like one step ahead. So we're gonna record Ariel watching somebody else. So it's like we're recording Ariel recording, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Her doing, watching, you know what I'm saying though?
Yep. Yep.
Like three-dimensional kind of thing.
To get her reaction of the videos of what she's. I get what you mean.
Exactly.
And
And like, and right, my son's like, Mom, that's dumb. I'm like, how is that dumb? Look at what you guys watch.
yep. And now somebody's gonna come out and start doing it. Watch my little girl's reaction of other kids playing with toys. All it takes is one.
Exactly.
All it takes is one to go viral. Then everybody's gonna start doing that.
It's like her watching other kids watching an iPad or something.
Hmm.
So it'd be like me videotaping her watching someone else watching.
Yep.
It just
Yep. I get it. I get it. The crazy thing about it, though, and I guess it's cool too, is some of these videos, these kids are making some good money just opening toys and playing with these toys just because these views. I'm like, what the
Thank
hell?
you. It really does boggle my mind. Like I always, like, if I'm in, see, my brain is always going. I
Hmm.
always tell my kids, I'm like, we got to figure out like the dumbest thing to do, like the dumbest thing to do, because
Yeah.
I guess that's what's entertaining.
Yep. I think to myself, I'm like, why didn't they have this?
Like we need to like make a
That is what I'm. See, that's
huh.
one thing. That right there is one thing. I'm like, I wish we had this technology when we were kids. So like, if I'm sitting here playing video games all day or playing with a toy, I'm like, Mom, relax. I'm working. I'm working. But
Like, Mom,
unfortunately,
putting bread on this table. Chill out.
yeah. But the thing with that though, which would probably help the video, especially in those days, go viral, is because I'd probably get slapped for it, and nobody's gonna say anything. They're gonna laugh. And that's what would get you views. Nowadays, people will be all upset about it. But that's one thing that would kind of be cool, I guess, with the whole YouTube era. If it was in our era, is obviously just the financial gain alone for certain videos. Because I'm like, wow, this kid's really.
Well, I was like, so because everybody like when something happens, something becomes viral, then everybody starts doing like their own spin of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, instead of everybody just copying each other,
Think of the next
like
idea.
create something. Like like seriously, this house is crazy. Okay, it's super crazy, and we say that the stupidest stuff. We're like, you got half naked kids, you got fighting, you got Ryan and Brody that talk a different language. You got my daughter Ariel who's like bouncing off the walls. Like 1 minute she's Ant-Man, next minute she's Superwoman, and then I was just gonna like do like a video and just set it down on our TV stand and just let it record.
See what happens. Yep. There you go. No, I get it. I definitely get that. Sometimes it's hilarious. I think that's a big reason why we like when I'm playing video games with my brother and stuff. We'll Twitch, I'll stream or whatever, and we're in the headset talking, and 9 times out of 10, I'm high when we're playing, so our conversations make zero sense, and we're just laughing the whole time, singing and everything. And I save it and put it out there. And I think the funny thing about it though is like a couple of my friends at work, they'll watch it and they're just like, "What were you guys talking about?" I'm like, I have no idea. You heard me ask him in the conversation. I don't know. Like there was I'm sure you've heard the Old Town Road song.
Oh yes.
Love that song, by the way. But we were listening to that, so we kept singing that, and then it went from that to we stopped playing the song. And I was talking about riding a horse to my father's house. I have no idea why. And it just went on and on about this. I was like, yeah, I'll ride a horse to my dad's or something. And we'll still bring that up now. Just so I get the whole recording the gaming stuff and those kind of conversations because it's hilarious. Especially when you listen back to them, like, what the hell was I talking? What? How did this conversation even start?
At least you make it interesting though, because like my son is he's recording himself, and then I don't even know. Like, hold on a second.
Yep.
Let me look on his Instagram.
Does he at least talk when he's recording, or does he just kind of just play the game?
No, like he puts music to it.
Oh, okay.
He puts music to it, and then like, I don't know, like he will, like the last one that he had put was, he'll put a song to it, and like he's like jumping off of houses and like shooting people or whatever it is, and then like he'll put like, "Hey Panini," and I'm like, what does that even mean?
All right. See the slang nowadays. I gave up. Like I have younger siblings, and I have people who are like family to me that are younger. They're like in their 20s, and they'll say stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are talking. I don't know if that's a threat. What did you just say to me? We gotta just stick with simple stuff like cool and all the stuff I grew up on. This extra stuff, I have no idea what you're talking about. And it makes me feel old because I remember when I was growing up, I would say certain things. My mother just looks at me like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn! Now I'm at that age."
I know, right? We are
like,
at that age. But you know what? It's so funny because everything that like the boys talk about or the language that they speak is from memes. Like they speak memes.
That's true
That's
too.
what they do.
Memes or like something from a song. I'm just like, oh man.
Yes. Like I heard this song. Like I was like, hey, I like this new song, and I think it's like Lizzie or Lizzo. Anyways.
I think Lizzo. I think that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, and like Ryan and Brody, I was like, yeah, I like this song by Lizzo, and like both of them started giggling, and I was like, what? And they're like, it's a meme, Mom. I'm like, you haven't seen this meme, and they're like, yeah, there's a meme for it. I'm like, there's a meme for everything.
There really is.
I got a question to ask you.
Okay.
Ooh, I know this already. All right. So, what are your thoughts on September 20th for Area 51?
I've joked with my brother on that actually. And I was like, we should go.
Huh?
I was joking around with my brother. I think when
up.
we were no, seriously, when we were streaming or whatever. I don't know if it was one night. I was like, yeah, we should go to Area 51. And then I see like a lot of famous people are saying they were going and all this stuff, right? And there's one actor I cannot stand, Nicolas Cage, and he said he was going. And I was like,
Oh,
I told my brother, you know what? I was like, Nicolas Cage is going. He fucked it up for us. Forget it. Cancel all plans. I'm not going now. He was like, I get it. He's like, no, we're not going.
why are you going to go to Area 51 and get shot?
That.
Like, do you want a death wish?
Oh no, we were just joking. But if people really see, my whole thing with that is, I'm hoping it's just like a hoax or a joke, because I feel like if you're really gonna do something stupid like that, that's not something you should really announce, especially on Facebook.
Well, it actually did start as a joke. Like the guys that started it, they were totally joking.
Yeah.
And it blew up into this like huge thing, like where now the FBI is involved, or I'm sorry, not the FBI, the government is involved.
Yeah.
And like legit people are gonna get blown up.
If they do it, if they stick with that, that's one of those things where I'll be like, yeah, I'm going. And then the day of, I'll call out sick. Like, what happened? I had to work. I was gonna go see if you guys would have did it on like Saturday. I would have been there, but I have to work. I gotta get a paycheck. Matter of fact, this Saturday I can't go because it's overtime. So, you got to get me on a different day. Let's go on Christmas.
Well, see, like I was gonna throw like a watch party.
Oh, that would be
what I
interesting.
mean? Like where everybody gets together and turn on multiple like TVs. Everybody's got their phones out.
And just ready.
Get the popcorn.
Yep.
See what the government does. We're like.
Yep, just ready.
Yep. I seriously heard about that, and I had to laugh. I had to laugh because people were talking, and I even went on the groups on Facebook to look at the memes, because the memes were really funny. But people are so dead serious. Like they're like, if I get an alien, they're like, if you get an alien, what are you gonna name the alien?
That's what I'm like. If I get there alive and get back alive, I'll figure it out from there. Yeah, but I've seen some of those memes. They're like, yeah, if we all go, they can't take us all. I'm like, what makes you think that? They could just drop a big bomb and destroy that whole area. Boom.
Exactly.
Or they won't kill these people.
I told my husband, because I said, because I do like conspiracy theories, and they've been talking about like depopulating, because we are overpopulated. And I was like, this would be like kind of like a really good way to weed out maybe some of the,
Yeah. I mean, if you really feel like that's a bright idea to go storm it, then I mean that's on you. I'm like, wow.
There you go.
Yeah. That
1.1, or I heard like 1.2, 2.2 million people. There you go.
Boom. That would make an interesting horror movie, though. Funny, maybe a horror comedy even. Either way, I would watch it. That would make a very interesting movie.
Me too.
I'm just wondering.
They should. That's a good idea.
Can you imagine calling out of work for that? Like, yeah, I'm going to Area 51. I'm not going to be in today. I might just...
What's even funnier, right, is like, let's just say you're a boss, right? And everybody knows what's going on September 20th. And your employee just happens to be like, oh, I can't come into work.
I don't feel good.
September 20th, or I got to take a couple days off. My aunt, I'm not going to say my aunt died, because my aunt actually just died. But, like, I got someone in the hospital, and then you're like, please, you can go to Area 51. Everybody.
Yeah, like I seen you make that Facebook post just yesterday. Come on now, stop lying. I'm the type of person I would text my boss and just say, look, I'm not going to be in because I'm going to Area 51. Just because, and then show up at work. Like I didn't use that excuse, but I remember when I used to work with my cousin. He was my supervisor at the time. And I was on my way to work. I was in the parking lot, and I texted him. I think I got there before, and I texted him. I was like, "Yo, I'm not gonna be able to come in today because of whatever reason." He was like, "Why the hell can't you show up at work?" And then he gets to work, and he's like, "What are you doing here? I thought you were coming." I was like, "I was lying. I was like, I didn't say that. What are you talking about?" I was like, "No, I was just messing with you." But yeah, I think that for the listeners out there, if you plan on going to Area 51, I will say this. If you really want to do it, you do it on Facebook Live and share it in the Horror Research 30 group so we can all watch.
That's right.
That's all I'm going to ask. I would talk you out of it, but I know you're not going to listen, so just share it so we can all see. Don't be selfish.
Sharing is caring.
Exactly. Oh, man, Area 51. There's better things to do, but
Obviously, there's not.
I guess not for them. It'd be interesting, though. Everybody wants to know what's in there. I want to know what's in there, but I'm not that curious to where I want to like go myself. But if somebody else wants to go for me, be my guest. It's the same thing.
I know. Well, have fun trying to get into Area 51.
Yeah.
I didn't know though. I didn't know that celebrities are getting in on this.
I don't know how serious they are on it. I think they're just doing it for the memes and the exposure and all that. But
I don't know. Nicolas Cage is kind of
he can go.
there.
He can go by himself. I would be completely fine with that. I don't see. Let me say this. I don't hate him as far as like I wish harm on him because I don't wish harm on anybody. But I just wish he would stop acting. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like it's just he's done enough. See, I don't want to ruin it for you because you might be able to get a role with him and he could be your favorite actor, but he just
no. It's just gotten. We'll just say this. It's just gotten odd.
Yes, it's been odd. Like I feel for the most part he plays like the same character in every movie. He's always crazy acting, and I don't mind crazy acting, but I don't think he's good at it. I feel like he's made a lot of money off it though, so I can't be mad at that. But I just feel like his calling is something else. Maybe I don't know what. Maybe maybe he'll be the one that's successful to get to Area 51. Maybe that's his calling.
Maybe that is his calling.
I watched the movie on him, not on him, but a movie he was in called Mandy. It's on it's called it's an app called Shudder. Has a lot of horror movies on there. I actually said a couple nice things about him. There was a cool tiger shirt he had on. That was one nice thing I said about him.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Another nice thing I think I said about him was I think he had a cool chainsaw in the movie or a cool sword or something. Maybe there was one more thing. He wasn't the worst part of the movie because he wasn't in the movie enough to be like the worst part, but it was bad. It was.
Yeah, I think it was so funny that you brought his name up because my husband had mentioned the fact that he had watched like a movie with him and with him in it, and he was like I don't understand. He was just so bad.
He
was just like so bad.
Yep.
And I'm like, really? He was like, I can't even explain how bad it was. And I go, okay, well then don't. But he's like, what was the one that he played where the ghost was, or his flaming head?
I didn't watch that movie, but I know Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider.
Wasn't bad. Ghost Rider. That one wasn't too bad. Maybe he should like. He plays these really good. He has a certain kind of type, like kind of weird and
he is
crazy.
I
should stick to those roles.
I feel like that's how he is in real life too. That's how I really feel he is. Because I'm like, you play the same thing in every movie. You must really be like this. He's like a running joke on this podcast. I stopped for a while. This is actually the first time I brought him up in a while. But I was joking with my brother or somebody on this. I was like, I feel like he gets the script and still does like what he wants. Like, Nick, that's not in the script at all. I don't know where you're getting your lines from. But no, don't do that. And he just does it, and they just let him do it because he's Nicolas Cage. But I don't know. And he's probably he could be one of the nicest people in the world. I just feel like me and him wouldn't get along. Maybe it's because all the stuff I say about him. or have said about him in the past. Never anything too bad. Like I've never, I don't wish any harm on him because he didn't do anything to me. He wasted a lot of my time over the years watching some movies that he was in. There's two movies that I can say I did like that he was in, which I haven't seen either one of these movies in a long time. Face Off with him and John Travolta, and Gone in 60 Seconds, but that's because of the cars and the females in the movie. I think that was the main reason. I don't think it had anything to do with him. I don't even remember the movie that well. But yeah, my brother keeps telling me, he's like, yo, there's a movie he's in. I forgot what it's called. He's like, it's a good movie. You need to watch it. And he's been telling me this for like the past 2 years, and I still can't bring myself to watch it. Because I'm just like, I've seen enough. I've seen a handful of his movies, and it's not doing it for me.
I get it, and like I said, much respect to Nicolas Cage, but it's so funny because you said the exact same two movies that I only remember him in too.
Yeah, see,
But at the same time, those two movies had like a stellar cast.
True, very true.
You know what I mean? So when you're surrounded by people like who are amazing talent, you know what I mean? It's like the movie just went up like that.
Yeah. He just needs to find a different career path, in my opinion. I mean, again, I can't say that because he's probably making good money, so I don't know.
He is an A-list actor.
Yeah, well, I don't know by whose standards, but I guess you got a point there. Well, if that's the case, Nick, send me an email and get me in some movies with you, and we can hash this little grudge we have. It's a one-sided grudge, but I'll say we, so it won't sound as bad. Come on the podcast and do an interview with me, and I'll stop saying bad things about you. Not even bad. I don't say anything terrible, but I'll say more nice things about you if he comes on the podcast. I'll say that.
Yeah. Maybe his personality will shine.
Maybe. Didn't he, was it last year? I think he got married. It was either last year or early this year. He was married for like 4 days and got a divorce within. I'm like, how the hell does that even happen? 4 days.
Wasn't that with Marie Presley?
I think so. I don't know who it was with, but it was within the past year or so. And I'm just like,
oh, no, I think he was, this was so long ago. Like, I don't know. This is just, like I said, this is just what I heard. I have no idea. I don't know if I need to Google it or whatever, but I had heard, like, a long time ago, maybe I was on too many drugs or something. I don't know. But I had heard that, like, he was obsessed with Elvis.
I believe that.
Like, seriously, like, had an obsession for Elvis, and the next thing you know, he was, like, married to Lisa Marie Presley.
That makes sense.
And then they weren't married.
That makes sense. In his mind, that probably makes plenty of sense, but that does make sense now that you mention it. I don't know much about Elvis, but the things that I've seen him on, with his wild dances and all that, that's how Nicolas Cage's acting is. So it all comes together now. It's because of Elvis.
Because of Elvis.
Not Elvis's fault, though. I'm not going to blame the man. But, man, I just want him to retire. I mean, I could just stop. I could just do what I've been doing and just avoid his movies at all costs. But if he's in a horror movie and somebody brings up, like, hey, I want to review this movie, I'm like, oh, damn it. I guess I got to watch it.
You know what? Next time you have me on the show, I'm gonna Google Nicolas Cage in horror films.
Okay, and I'll review it.
I'm gonna do a list.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that, and I will give it an honest review. Like if it's a good movie or not. I don't know. Maybe we'll see if I say anything else nice about him. I'll say that. Maybe he'll have another cool shirt on or something, or do something cool.
I don't know. I'm just gonna give him props because he's, you know what?
Yeah, he's. I guess you could say he's faking it. He's making it. And I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at his hustle. He's doing a legal hustle, making some good money. I can't be mad at that.
Yep.
He could be doing a lot worse things.
At that.
But I don't know. Maybe he should be a voice actor. Maybe that's what he should do. Voiceover acting. and the character in the movie can act crazy. The cartoon character. There you go, Nick. That's your calling. I'm calling it right now, and maybe I can watch those movies. Maybe.
We need to get Nicolas Cage on your show. You're so funny.
I wish. I really, because the thing is, like, I wouldn't be like rude to him, but I'd be honest with him. Like, are you a fan of mine? No. I'm not a fan, and here's why. But here's what I think you should do. And if he takes my advice, he should pay me. Especially if people start really loving him around the world. Like, oh man, this was such great advice by Aaron on the Horror 630 podcast. I'm like, yeah, Nick, now look. Either that or Nicolas Cage, let's do like a buddy cop movie. Because I always do it's always like
Maybe
a black
you
and
could be
white.
like your co-host.
Maybe for an episode or two. I don't know about every single episode. I don't I don't know how well that would go.
Oh man. Now
But
I would pay lots of just because like I hear you talk about Nicolas Cage, I would pay really good money to see that.
see,
Like,
well, if that's the case, if people would pay to see it or listen to it, that's a different story.
like you guys both like hate each other's guts, and you guys have to do a podcast show together.
If that's the case where it's money involved, I would love to work with Nicolas Cage. Nothing would make me happier. Well, a lot of things would make me happier, but nothing would make me happier in that moment. It would be funny, and with his,
he'd be like Aaron, like my movie The Ghost Rider, and you're like,
I didn't watch it. He just named a bunch of movies like Nick. I've never even heard of that movie before. Are you sure you're in it? But yeah, I would definitely do that. And I think with him being on here, if he was my co-host, is he has a lot more connections, so he can get a few more people on here. Maybe, which would be great, and I can connect those people with people that I've worked with. Like, listen, you want to see some good acting? Oh, we can get Nick. No, don't put Nick in no more movies. He's done. Get these people. A lot of these independent artists, actors, and actresses, and directors I've had on here, work with them. You got to stop working with this guy, though. You gonna talk like that about your co-host? Yeah, I am. I'm gonna be honest. We don't like each other at all.
You're hilarious right now.
And you know what's hilarious about this is like my brother's the same. He has the same feelings that I do about Nicolas Cage to Corey Feldman, and he's had these feelings for years, and I never understood why until now. And he never I would ask him. It'd be funny. You're like, yo, so what is your issue with Corey? The only thing I don't like about Corey Feldman is he was in Friday the 13th, Chapter 4, and he defeated Jason. Jason's my favorite icon. That was unacceptable for me. Other than that, I don't really have an issue with that guy. Crazy, but that's fine. But I would ask him, like, hey, what is your issue with him? He would say, he told me I wouldn't understand. He told me it's none of my business. It's personal. Like, I've known you for over 20 years. He'll just say, like, a different reason every single time. I just laugh. And I'm like, this makes no sense. And then I'm like, I apologize to him. I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry, Henry. I get it now because I see Nicolas Cage in some things recently, and I understand your dislike for Corey Feldman, someone that you've never met. Your imaginary beef, I have the same one with Nicolas Cage. I get it.
It's so crazy because my mom, right, and this brings up with she feels the same way about Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like she'd be like, I don't like her. I don't like her. And I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. There's something about her. I don't like her. I'm like, you don't even know her. And she's like, I won't watch anything that she's in. And then she's like, see, she's a woman stealer. She stole Jennifer Aniston's husband. I'm like, Mom, you are way too involved.
Yeah, in their personal life. Like I have,
and so it's so funny because she will go on a tangent, and I'm just like, I'm looking at her, and I'm like, Mom, you don't know her.
See,
like, I don't need to know her. I know exactly who she is.
And if I was sitting there talking to her, like, you know what? I get exactly where you're coming from because Nicolas Cage. And if my brother's there, he's gonna bring in Corey Feldman, and it's just gonna be a whole lot of like, what the hell are these guys talking? Like, what are these three talking about? But I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't hate
You
them.
know, I'm laughing so hard over here, Aaron. I gotta blow my nose. Ugh. Sorry.
It's all good. I do have another horror related question for you, and this is
Sure.
what movie scared you as a child, if you remember? Like, what's the first movie that scared you as a child?
The first movie that scared me as a child was was yeah, it was probably Freddy Krueger. I mean,
Okay. Bad enough to where you
why are
had
you
to.
laughing?
No, I'm smirking.
Huh?
Bad enough to like where you had to be walked to the bathroom or sleep with the lights on and all that kind of stuff. Scared?
Um, it was like bad to where I kind of got scared of going to sleep.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. That makes plenty of sense.
I know.
I have
I
one
didn't
too.
want to like dream.
Yep. I get it. Mine was Creep Show 2, The Hitchhiker. Thanks for the ride, lady. Terrified me.
Really?
Terrified
Why?
me. I don't know. Like, I don't know what was so scary about it, but that movie was one of the movies I was telling you about that I don't know if it was my older brother or one of my older cousins. I was like, I have to use the bathroom. They're like, okay, so go. I was like, no. You have to pause this movie and walk me to the bathroom, turn all the lights on, and then bring me back in here because I was that scared. And then, like, watching it later on in life, especially as an adult, I think the movie's hilarious. I like it. I still enjoy it, but I just think it's hilarious. I'm like, why the hell? What was so scary about this? But
Right?
I look back and I think about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm like, as a kid, one, it's a horror movie, and then two, your imagination just runs wild, like just goes off the charts crazy. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's what it is. And I've loved horror ever since, and it's come to the point now. Well, obviously I have a podcast for it, but like those who got me into horror, as far as my cousins and my brother, they're not into it as much as I am now. My
Yeah.
older brother, my one brother that lives out in Colorado, hit me and him. We've been watching movies together since we were little kids, growing up, and we just love them. Still love them to this day. And we're actually going to, me, him, and my wife are going to a con. It's called Scaricon out in Rochester, New York. He's flying out from Colorado to go to this con. I'm taking my podcast to the con again, and just that's gonna be a fun weekend. I can't wait for that. So I'm very passionate about horror, and it's just I think the cool thing about it now, excuse me, with the whole social media thing too, is you meet so many awesome people with these cons, with this social media, like you, Craig, and everybody who I've met through horror, which I love it. And then we'll talk horror, we'll talk about Nicolas Cage, and it's just all, it's all fun and funny, and it all starts from freaking horror, which is just crazy because I mean, obviously none of this stuff was out when we were kids, but as a kid you never think about this, and then as kids you never even think about meeting these people that are in these movies, and I got to meet quite a few of them at these cons. And then with the independent horror, I got to meet people like you and Craig and David and a bunch of other people, Chase, and just you guys will come on the podcast, and everybody's so humble. I'm just like, that's so awesome that these guys were in this movie. No matter what the budget was for the movie, you guys were in this movie, and you took the time out to come talk shit on this podcast with me. I'm like, that's awesome. So I got to thank everybody for it, including you that's came on here and that's gonna come on here in the future. That's awesome.
No, thank you for having me on. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah,
It was so much fun. And I was gonna bring up one more thing because I know we gotta go because I think we've gone like way over time.
Oh, there's no time limit on this, so it's pretty much whenever you guys are ready to go.
So the one more thing I wanted to say that scared me,
Okay.
like scared the living like doo doo out of me, was Candyman.
Oh, yes.
And the reason why Candyman scared the crap out of me was because it was during the time when Bloody Mary
Oh, yes.
was playing off. So when you said you didn't want to go to the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
like I would. So when I was in my room, like in the Candyman, because like you'd say Candyman, Candyman, Candyman 3 times, like
Mm-hmm.
Mary, turn around, flush the toilet, look in the mirror, whatever it is, and there she is. Like you're absolutely right. Like so when I would go to bed, my bed was like this, and then I had my I had like my mirror right here,
Mm-hmm.
and my closet was right here.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I would like say, like, I was so scared of Bloody Mary, and I would like fight myself and like thinking like Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary in my head, and it would scare the living crap out of me, and I'd throw my blanket over my head because I didn't want to look at the mirror or look at
Mm-hmm.
the and
Yep. Oh,
I'm
I get it.
telling you, I'm like, no, I said it 3 times. I said it 3 times in my head.
That you know what's funny about that too, as far as going back to the childhood things, I don't know what it is about that, but as far as like when we were scared as kids, I don't know what going under the covers would actually do if something went down. Because that's like our first, like, okay, you know what? I'm scared in my room. I gotta hide under the covers. Like that's not gonna do anything. If somebody came in there to do something, that's probably the worst thing you could do. Like get up and run and hide in a better spot, right under the bed, shaking with the covers, and like, oh yeah, this is really gonna protect me from Jason's machete.
For some reason, like when we would go underneath the covers, it was like a shield.
Yeah.
You know, in our minds, it was like, okay, like we're invisible or they can't see me. Or
Yep. Must have been one of those lies our parents told us.
I know something. It must have been something because like that. I always turn to it, or I'd like, or I'd close my eyes and I'm like, don't look, don't
Yep.
look, don't look.
Yep. Shielding. Yeah, and that doesn't do anything either.
No.
Not at
And
all.
it doesn't help either that you don't want to go like in elementary school to the bathroom because you're afraid to go because Bloody Mary's in there.
See? Oh man. I don't even know. I don't even think I thought about it when I went to school as far as certain horror. Or you know what it was in school? You play it up like you're not. I would play it up like I wasn't scared of the movie. Talking about, hey, I seen such and such this weekend. It was hilarious. It was a good movie. Were you scared? No, absolutely not. Oh, damn well. Me?
Right? Rob, no.
That's crazy.
You?
Oh, your mom let you watch that movie? Yeah, she lets me watch whatever I want. No, when she was sleeping and I was watching it with my brothers and cousins. She's like,
I don't even remember how I even watched these movies, to be honest with you, because my parents wouldn't allow me and my brother to watch horror movies. So, how I watched all the Freddy Krueger movies, Pet
mm-hmm.
Cemetery, People Under the Stairs, um, oh my God, how I watched them, I don't even know. I can't even remember.
Same here for the most part. It was just, well, I don't know if my mother cared because my brother is, we're like 8. I don't know how many years apart we are, but like my cousins were older than my brother. Cousins were older than my brother, so they were old enough to. I think they might even been old enough to get the movies, or at least they were old enough to watch them. They all were, so they can get them, and then they would just watch them late at night. But I would stay up late. I was always a night owl as a kid, so I would stay up late and watch them with them. And nobody would say anything about. As long as I didn't say anything to my mother or my aunt, whoever's house we were at, we were good. Like, Aaron, you shouldn't be watching these movies.
Yeah.
Of course, you know the funny thing though about watching movies with even with your older siblings and cousins and stuff. They'll let you watch the blood and guts, but as soon as a nude scene comes up, you got to cover your eyes. I'm like, this doesn't even make any sense. Cover your eyes. You shouldn't be watching. I just watched a man get his head ripped off and stomped on, and somebody's throat get cut. But this is what you want me to cover my eyes for?
I know.
Pick through your fingers. Like, what am I missing? What's going on? Oh, well, why do I have to cover my eyes for? A bunch of blood all over the screen. I'm scared, but this is.
That is so true.
I'm just
That
like,
is so true. You know what? I have never, ever even thought about that. And even as a parent, because I'm like, Ariel, cover your eyes.
mm-hmm.
Like, but yes, but.
Yeah.
So and so we are getting like.
Yep.
We're like, cover your eyes. And she's like, huh? Like, you don't know what's going on.
Yep. Put the blanket over your face. For what?
Put the blanket over your face.
Okay, the scene's done now. You can watch.
Well, I wonder, I'm thinking like, because I have an older half brother, and I wonder if like, because he would have his buddies over. I wonder if they would like went and got scary movies and like I just came out and like just watched it.
Yep.
I don't remember watching it with anybody else.
Yep.
And like maybe they were so consumed watching it too that I was just like,
they didn't even realize you were there.
kid.
Yep. See what it was with them too is like, okay, you can watch them, just don't make too much noise, don't talk through the movie. This, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Just give me some popcorn, give me something to drink, and I'm good. But when I have to go to the
Right?
bathroom, you have to walk me to the bathroom. That's like my only thing.
Oh man.
But I remember just hours upon hours watching horror, and then I remember when Friday the 13th the DVD came out, the box set. Right, so my brother in Colorado now. We went over to we went to the mall, went to a store called FYE. I don't know if there's an FYE out there or not. It's pretty much sells like, well, then it sold like movies, video games, stuff like that, all kinds of electronics. But anyway, so we went there, got the no, there wasn't Blu-rays out then. Got the DVD set and went back to my house that night. We watched from the first one. That whole weekend we watched from Jason 1 to Jason 9. And just that's all we did. During the day we'd be out playing whatever, but as soon as it was night, watching those movies, I'm like the whole weekend to watch that. And it became tradition. Like if we were hanging out or whatever, whoever I'm hanging out with at that weekend, if it's Friday the 13th weekend, like look, we can do this, that, and the third, but at this time, this is what's happening. We're starting from part one. Yes, we're starting from part. Aaron, you just watched this yesterday. I don't care. We're starting from part one. We're gonna watch this whole series. And I even do it now, like with my wife. If Friday the 13th, sometime we may not watch as many, but we'll start from the first one and go through it. And now we'll if we're watching a movie like say Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, or whatever, we'll watch that whole franchise when we can. It's not necessarily that day or that weekend, but we'll finish that franchise before we start the next one, which it's cool. I love it. It's something about horror.
And that's why the month of October is so great because they just go on marathons.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean? Back to back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which I love. I do love it. I want to this year. We try it every single year, and it doesn't always happen the way we want it to. The 31 days of horror, 31 days of Halloween, watch a horror movie every single night, but
yeah,
it doesn't work like that all the time. You'll be good for a week or two, and then you'll miss a couple of nights, and it's just.
I know. Then it's all over after that.
Yep.
No, I totally get it. I totally get it.
And we always say, don't plan it, just, let it happen. But I'm like, we kind of have, you kind of have to at least have an idea. But a lot of the times, the part that ruins it besides work, that gets in the way and sleep, is trying to find a freaking movie. Like we were talking about earlier. You got all these freaking choices. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we need to just, in September, we'll pick 31 different movies and we'll just go through them all.
Yeah,
Maybe.
or you know what? Or you could just Google the 31 best 31 horror films.
Yeah.
Print it out.
That's another thing.
Mark it off.
Or just hit.
And if you miss a day, then you have to watch 2 that day.
The weekend would be like the catch-up days. Okay, look, if we miss a day, we'll watch 2 or 3 or 4 during the weekend, but we won't share it on Facebook until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're still good.
Exactly.
Oh, man. This was a very fun interview.
Yeah, this was super fun.
Thanks again for coming on.
Except for I got snot coming out of my nose because I keep laughing so hard.
I told you this would be easy. It's laid back. This is how it always is. It's just kind of laid back. The way I try to do it is whoever I have on, if it's the first time coming on, especially, I try to talk to them. It's a good 5 to 10 minutes before we start recording, get them comfortable, and then we'll just record and go. And that's just how it happens, I guess.
Well, I do have to show you this because, since we've been doing the interview, I don't know if you can hear it, but so there's been snoring going on in the background of this whole interview. So let me show you.
That dog is knocked out.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Looks like he's smiling.
And you know what? I just realized right now because I was like, what is that? Because I hear. And I'm like, what is that sound? I'm like, Sheldon, how long have you been here?
Whole time just knocked out sleep.
Just knocked out of sleep.
Better than the dog jumping around and barking.
We should definitely do this again.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Just let me know when, and
yeah, we'll schedule another day. I do need to get going because it's 4, and I know that we're supposed to there's something going on across the street over there. There's like a brewery thing or something.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll let you get going. But if there's anything you want to plug, which I do want to tell you about that Stranger Things thing once we're done recording, which will only take a couple
Yes.
seconds. But if there's anything you want to plug, feel free to plug, and then I'll close it on out.
Yeah, I definitely want to plug a couple things. I want to plug The Evil Down the Street, which is on Amazon Prime. Take a look at it. It's based on a true story, and make sure to leave a review. Also, Ernest Serrano's New York State of Mind, which is on Amazon Prime as well, which is a short film. Yeah, leave a review, guys. I mean, that would be awesome and amazing. And as future projects, because I do have some things lined up.
I know about one of them,
those,
but can't say anything yet.
well, I mean, the next one we'll do that one.
Okay.
I wanted this one to be more about the evil down the street, but we got some things lined up, so I can't wait to tell you and tell everybody about them.
Well, I can't wait for those time. I can't wait for that either. I know that's gonna be another fun one. And again, thank you for coming on. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Everybody, go check her out in The Evil Down the Street. It's a really good movie. I watched it so far. I watched it twice, and yeah, definitely leave a review. Share it with your friends. And me being a podcast, I know how that is. So when you hear this podcast, share it, leave a review. I say share it with your friends, family, and your enemies, everybody, coworkers, boss. Everybody going to Area 51, share it with each other.
Right.
And I guess we could.
Stage, watch it.
Yes. Please, Nicholas. No, I'm not even going to say please to you. You don't deserve that. Not from me. But, yeah, Nicolas Cage, if you ever want to be a guest, shoot me an email, horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. Again, that's horrorwithsir.sturdy@gmail.com. I'm on every single platform as far as podcasts go, YouTube, Twitch. Check out my Facebook pages, Horror with Sir Sturdy. And, yeah, just keep having fun watching horror. Nicolas Cage, retire, please. Do voice acting. Do something. Become my co-host. Let's get rich off of it. And... maybe we can let bygones be bygones. I don't know yet. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in your